4th is Indie Week, a national observance celebrating the role of independently
What up,
owned
family?
businesses in resilient communities. Exploring, discovering, and supporting local keeps our hometown businesses thriving. Learn more
What up,
at
family?
localfirstaz.com.
We're on YouTube as well.
Let's be honest. The National Symphony may not be in his future, but he wanted to try violin, so you said yes because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more about keeping your kids safe in your vehicle at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Show him you love him. Keep him safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Broadcasting from the Phoenix Center for the
All right,
Arts,
y'all, about to go on live.
KYRIE, jazz and indie.
About to go on live.
When it comes to talk, sing, connect. KRDP, Apache Junction, Goldfield Ghost Town, Phoenix, 90.7 FM in the East Valley, and online at Listen, the number 2, KRDP.com, a service of Desert Soul Media.
Views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Desert Soul Media and its board of directors. Thank you for listening.
This week on the Keep 1 Million show,
Long time, no cash.
NBA free agency is here, and we're talking Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and others may be making moves this offseason, including Paul George and the big fish, Damian Lillard. We're going to talk about that and more in NBA free agency. We're also going to get into Domingo Germán, New York Yankees pitcher, pitches a perfect game. Will this be the Yankees turnaround? We're also going to get into, if you know who Baby Gronk is, you know. But the real Gronk is unhappy with his dad. We're going to talk about that. And we're also going to get into Asia Wilson just curved another NBA baller. We're going to get into that and a whole lot more on this week's Keep It 1 Million show.
If you want to listen to music, go on to listen the number 2, KRDP.com.
We do not own this music. We do not own this music.
Rock on, You hear it? You want it higher or lower? Do you want it higher or lower?
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
That's good. Actually, a little bit higher. A little bit higher.
Huh?
A little bit higher.
A little higher. Right there?
A little bit. Right there. Right.
Let me know. What number you on?
1.
KRDP. Listen, the number 2, KRDP.com if you want to listen to this music. Oh, remember. Yeah. You know what? Move it over here. And get both of us. If you do that over like this way. Just a little bit. Yeah.
Waiting for a long time, but we ain't gonna wait no more. We're getting ready to rock and roll. We're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Well, there's a reason everybody should.
And we're back to Keep 1 Million show. I'm Dwayne.
Sean P.
And we're live right now on KRDP 90.7 FM. And listen to number 2, KRDP.com. Please like, share, follow on all social media platforms. Hashtag Keep 1 Million. And on YouTube, KRDP on YouTube. Keep it 1 million _ show on Instagram. What's going on with you? Sean, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. Can't complain at all.
Right, it is June 29th, 2023, and it's 1,000 degrees outside. We're about to get into the beginning of Phoenix summer, and that is 115 degrees and above.
Oh yeah,
If anybody,
oh
you
yeah.
know, if you know, you know. That's what
Yeah.
they say in these times. And if you know about James Harden.
Oh yeah.
And James Harden, he's about his money. 100%. He's 100% about his money. Right, he's 1,000,000% about his money. And he opted in today on his $35.6 million option for 2023-2024. This is, reported from Woj, Woj bombs. It's been going on all this whole off season. And this is not to stay with the 76ers. This is to facilitate a trade.
Yes.
They say the two teams that are interested in acquiring James Harden is the LA Clippers and the New York Knicks. We know that the Houston Rockets are in contention as well, since he has, familiarity with the Rockets, with Ime Udoka over there with their new squad. Sean, your team. I don't want to throw salt on the wound, but what's going on with James Harden? Were you expecting this? How do you feel?
I was expecting something to happen because the Philadelphia 76ers, they had a lot of leverage. So Harden could have stayed, or they could work something out, and I'm not mad because I'm like, okay, if they trade him, like who they gonna trade him for? We have, at least I haven't heard anything yet about who they would trade him for. But the Clippers, I can see I can see them maybe trading him for Paul George maybe, and that would be cool. I don't know about the Knicks. I don't know what they could offer because I know they're not gonna let their core go, any of their core go. But the Rockets, though, I can't see James Harden going back to the Rockets because Ime Udoka, he's a defensive oriented dude. And, James Harden, defense is not his big thing.
Right, and the thing is, from a Knicks standpoint, like you said, the Knicks don't want to give up their core, their young guys, so you would have to give up possibly a Quentin Grimes, Obi Toppin. Yeah, he's one of the young players, but it kind of hasn't panned out. He had some flashes in towards the end of the season when Julius Randle was injured, but bringing in someone like a James Harden kind of facilitates a person that can facilitate. He's a 10 assist per game guy.
Yeah, led the league in assists last year.
He led the league in assists. You know what I mean? He scores out of his mind. But as an older player, if you want more veterans on the Knicks team, yeah, this may be a good move. The problem is getting someone like a Quentin Grimes, Obi Toppin. That's not a good look when the Knicks in his past 3-4 years have been focused on creating a younger culture as far as who they have right now. So
yeah, and Hart just didn't he just opt in or opt out? Like
he did opt in, it was to. He wants to be traded for another team, so it's basically a sign and trade type of situation.
For Hart,
right? Oh, you talk Josh Hart. Excuse me, Josh Hart. Yes, he did. Excuse me, Hart, but he did just opt in to his contract, and that's only $12 million. But I think Harden understands that his contract is so large that he wouldn't be able to garner a team to grab him in free agency, right? So a sign and trade is what needs to happen to match contracts. So Philly can actually grab something in return, and Daryl Morey is his guy.
Yeah.
So he's looking at it. I see at that aspect like, hey, I want to be traded, but I'm not going to leave you holding the bag. He left Brooklyn holding the bag. Yeah. He left Houston holding the bag. So he's not going to leave 76ers holding the bag. So I think it could be a good thing for the 76ers.
Yeah.
Getting more players for someone like a James Harden, who is basically, he's a future Hall of Famer.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? So, getting 2 players, 2 first-round picks, those draft swaps that everybody does nowadays instead of the compensation, and you get a more robust roster on the 76ers. Now, here's the question, what does this do for Joel Embiid? How does this affect Joel Embiid? Because he's played with James Harden a season and a half.
Yeah.
And they do have a rapport. They do have, chemistry. And you see it in the playoffs. I mean, how is that going to affect offensively?
Well, what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring in Van Fleet. They that's what I've been reading in the rumors. So they're trying to bring in Van Fleet. And if they bring in Van Fleet, he's not the player that Harden is. I'm not saying that, but he's familiar with Nick Nurse's offense, and and I believe it'll work because he's a good player, good shooter, good decision maker, and that will move Maxey over to the point, Van Fleet at the 2, and then let's just say for the sake of argument, you got Paul George in there.
Okay. So, and the thing is, with Nick Nurse, he's the defensive coach, so he's going to want 2-way players.
Oh, yeah.
James Harden is not a 2-way player, and I think that's the reason why he wants the trade is because he knows Nick Nurse's style of play, offense and defense, doesn't mesh with his because he's a pick-and-roll player.
Yeah.
James Harden, he wants to do the pick-and-roll, pick-and-pop, dish it to Embiid and just it back to him for the 3-point shot. The problem is, in the playoffs, James Harden was nowhere to be found as far as the 3-pointer. And that's in the past. How many years have James Harden been non-existent in the playoffs? You want somebody who's proven. And be honest with you, Fred VanVleet is proven in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, he's proven.
He's very proven. He's a champion.
Got a championship ring, yeah.
Right?
Proven.
He's a proven player in the playoffs. So I think that would be a great look since VanVleet is a free agent right now. He did opt out, of the contract with the Toronto Raptors. And speaking of Paul George has been a lot of trade rumors lately in the past week and a half. Namely with Portland, with Damian Lillard, Portland, the Lakers, a whole lot of different teams, a lot of teams out East, Boston, 76ers. I mean, do you think the Clippers will get rid of Paul George and trade him?
It's quite possible. It's quite possible. It's different scenarios, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, the whole Philadelphia 76ers thing. That means they would get Harden out there, so that means it'll be Westbrook and Harden and get in the backcourt. I don't think they have any bad blood. I don't believe there's anything there like that. So it'd be Westbrook, Harden, Kawhi at the 3. I mean that could work. That could work. I mean I don't believe it's a championship team because I don't believe that team could beat Denver, but it's still something to look at.
Well, I would say what would be a better situation is if they trade Kawhi Leonard. There's been, rumbles and rumors that, the team is kind of unhappy with Kawhi Leonard as far as his availability, his demands, and he's frankly a diva. If people in NBA circles know, Kawhi Leonard is a bit of a diva to where, he wants the practice on his terms, on his time. Yeah. He wants, I wouldn't say unreasonable things, but kind of difficult things. And this is the reason why people were talking about Ty Lue may want out with the Clippers. It's mainly because of Kawhi Leonard and all his antics and his family situation with his uncle and whatnot. The thing is, I mean, every team would want Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, but can you deal with that? Can you deal with those? Can you deal with those issues? Do you want to deal with those issues?
That's the problem.
I wouldn't mind seeing Kawhi with Philly or something like that, but it just because Nick Nurse he won a championship with Nick Nurse. He did that, and I didn't. Nobody said anything about them not getting along or anything like that. But that is something you have to deal with when it comes to Kawhi Leonard.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's crazy is the fact that the San Antonio Spurs and Toronto, they kind of swept that under the rug. It wasn't really talked about as far as
they were winning.
That's true. Winning championships, multiple championships with Kawhi Leonard.
I believe in San Antonio. Did he win 2 in San Antonio?
He won 2 with San Antonio.
So he won 1, so he has 3 rings.
Went to Toronto, win a championship. Now he's with the Clippers, and it all happened. I mean, there's talks about him going. He lives in San Diego, and they have to wait for him to come to LA so they can leave and things of that nature. And it gets a little frustrating from what people have talked about when it comes to the Clippers and everything. And it seems like the Paul George trade sounds like maybe he wants out of LA, the Clippers in particular. But if you're the Clippers brass, do you keep this team together? Because remember, they're going into a brand new stadium coming up. $billion stadium, and who you gonna have as a roster? So I think that's very important for the Clippers moving forward. And speaking of that, we're gonna come back and we're gonna get into the Damian Lillard saga and everything NBA free agency related. Keep it locked right here. It's the Keep 1 Million Show.
What? Is it tangled?
We are the boys people concert number 3.
Is it tangled up on you?
Yeah, it is. It's like mine and yours. Okay, no, mine's straight. It's tangled.
I just lift the chair up a little bit.
Oh, I see it. Okay, yeah. No, keep it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, keep it that way.
Alright.
This.
It's gonna fall no matter what.
Right, and it's like getting caught in the chair. Oh, we're coming on right now. And we're back. Keep 1 Million Show. I'm Dwayne.
Sean Pay.
And we're live on YouTube and Instagram. If you guys seen us, yeah, we're trying to get these chords together and everything like that, you know. So, speaking of free agency, Harrison Barnes just opted in
Yep.
to his contract.
That's his best decision.
3 years, $54 million deal. It's by far his best decision. He ain't nowhere he's gonna go.
Yeah.
No team's gonna want him. You know, he's an older player. You know,
Sacramento's a good team. I mean,
yeah, they're an up and coming team.
Yeah,
They
he
went to
played
playoffs
it.
and
he played a real good role with them last year. So
they did their thing.
They did their thing.
One major move is the Draymond Green opted out of his contract.
Oh yeah.
Makes him a free agent, and that could possibly, since the Warriors traded Jordan Poole to Washington, this may come into play to where the Warriors rework Draymond Green's contract, possibly lower for more years, whatnot, keeping them under the cap, or maybe even over the cap, but he most likely to stay. And then there's that TNT thing, the match, where it's Kyrie, Curry and Klay Thompson versus Patrick Mahomes and who's the tight end? Kelsey.
Travis.
And Travis and the match is a TNT event where it's a 2-on-2 celebrity golf event.
Oh, okay.
And Draymond Green is there, and he's talking major mess, and it's all over Twitter and everything. So he's trying to let it be known he's a Warrior, after he was kicking it with LeBron James.
On vacation.
Remember that? He was kicking it with LeBron James in France at the French fashion show.
Yeah.
So he's trying to play both sides, it sounds like.
Oh, he's just being a free agent. He's never been a free agent before.
Yeah, he talked about that on his podcast.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
He's doing his due diligence, and we'll see, what happens, if any. I think one team everyone was kind of looking at that kind of makes sense is Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
The Memphis Grizzlies,
I can see that.
Memphis
I can
talks
see that.
to him. I kind of doubt it, but
No,
because all that stuff they was talking to each other when in the playoffs. So I don't think the fans would like that. Either fan, as far as Golden State and Memphis. Diehard fans would not like him going over there. But something that is pretty major is Kyrie Irving. He's a free agent.
Yeah.
He may or may not re-sign with Dallas, but reports is coming as him, his representatives and himself wanting to talk with the Phoenix Suns.
I don't know.
What do you think about that,
I
Sean?
don't know, man. So you got Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker. It's not enough ball to go around. Those are 4 ball dominant guys. Even though Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant aren't selfish players, they need the ball in their hands to be effective.
Right. And
So-
and the thing is, I think when it comes to the DeAndre Ayton aspect of it, if they bring in Kyrie Irving, they would have to trade DeAndre Ayton,
They
not
would
just
have
for
to.
cap space, but as far as bringing in more players, bench players, role players, and whatnot. I mean, you basically have your starting 5 right there. You have Kyrie Irving as your 1, Devin Booker as your 2, Bradley Beal as your 3, Kevin Durant as your 4,
Stretch 4, yeah.
and then you can bring in a 5, like anybody really,
Yeah.
just for defensive purposes.
Yeah.
And then you have to fill out your bench as far as backup center, backup power forward,
Point
you know,
guard.
right, things of that nature. 9 times out of 10, it will be possibly an 8 to 9 man rotation.
Yeah.
You know, especially with Frank Vogel's offense, he's more defensive oriented. Yeah, he said he wants to fix DeAndre Ayton, but you know, when things change, right? And right now things are changing at a unbelievable pace
Yeah.
when it comes to the Suns. You bring in Bradley Beal with that massive contract.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you think about if they bring in Kyrie Irving? Like, how would that situation even play out?
I don't see it playing. I don't see it playing out. Well, I don't see how that could really work. They would have to trade DeAndre Ayton. I would like to see them just whatever cap money they got, use that to fill up their bench.
Mm-hmm.
Just use that to fill out your bench and get some quality players that can contribute, because you already got 3 monsters, bona fide monsters, and like why would you need Kyrie really? He needs y'all more than you need him.
Right. The thing is, when it comes to, like you said, you know, there's not enough ball to go around. Somebody would have to take a lesser role, as
Yeah,
far
yeah.
as you know.
I can see Bradley Beal. I can see Bradley Beal doing that because he's not an arrogant player like that. I can see him taking a lesser role. I can see him doing that.
Yeah, and also for Kyrie Irving's sake, since he's talked about his next team being his last team and wanting to retire soon, and you know all the talk he's been saying, I think he would have to really humble himself and take a lesser role as far as shooting, usage, and whatnot, and possibly, you know, being way more of a facilitator than what he has been in the past. You have those 4 players. You're by far the favorites to win the championship. Like I said, you just bring in a serviceable center, fill your bench. There's going to be a Bruce Brown sweepstakes coming soon. As far as, you know, him being a free agent. And one thing I want to talk about, speaking of Bruce Brown, is the Lakers, because the Lakers have been wanting to talk to Bruce Brown. Also, they have gave Rui Hachimura and what's the kid's name?
We're talking about Mo Bamba.
No, they waived Mo Bamba.
Yeah, they waived Mo
Bamba's
Bamba.
out.
Yeah.
But the the other player,
Austin Reeves?
Austin Reeves.
Carlton Reeves.
They have gave them qualifying offers.
Oh, okay.
So now they're restricted free agents. So any team that wants them, the Lakers can match.
And they released Mobamba. Who's the other player they released? They released another player.
Yeah, they did. The thing is, what I want to ask is, can you see the Lakers making enough moves to get over that hump?
We'll see. I would like to see what they're gonna do with D'Lo.
Oh, Malik Beasley is
Malik
the
Beasley,
player that
okay.
they let go. So that means they're what they're doing is making moves to shore up space for other players.
Yeah.
For maybe larger players, maybe just one player. You know,
Maybe.
where do you think they go? Now, there's two players that they're looking at. Is Bruce Brown and Brook Lopez.
Oh, they're looking for some bigs.
Right.
I was about to say, tell you the truth. I mean, Kyrie. I mean, he's played with LeBron before. LeBron likes playing with him.
Right.
I can see that, and they would need another a big. So Brook Lopez, I can see that as
I
well.
think Brook Lopez is the better fit.
Yeah, I can see Brook
to
Lopez.
back up Anthony Davis.
I can see that.
You know, Dennis Schroeder, who's going to be a free agent also, and also Eric Gordon, who was just waived by the Clippers as well.
Oh, man.
That could be a great target for getting a veteran backup point guard.
Yeah. Good 3-point
also,
shooter.
They could possibly bring back Patrick Beverly. He was, you know, he's with the Orlando Magic for now.
Okay.
You know, and so you know, there's a lot of moves that they can make. There's a lot of ways they can go to fill up their roster with the Lakers to keep LeBron and Anthony Davis happy. You know, what's possibly the best move they can make to them to possibly get over this hump? I mean, it's going to be hard for them to beat Denver.
Yeah.
And also the Suns as well.
It'll be hard. They got swept, but all 4 games were competitive.
Mm-hmm.
They were competitive, but you still got swept, though. So you still have to look at that. That means that Denver was just just better. They're just better than you all. So if they could figure out a way to get Brook Lopez and to get Kyrie, because Kyrie could be the extra ball handler when LeBron goes to the bench and things like that, and keep Austin Reeves and Roy Hachimura and like I said, I'd like to see what they're gonna do with D'Lo.
Yeah.
See what they're gonna do with that.
They may bring back.
Because he can play the 2 guard.
They may bring him back.
So it's going to be an interesting summer. It's going to be really interesting summer.
Yeah, the next week and a half,
Yeah.
we'll find out what happens with this free agency. And the major not necessarily free agent, but the major player that's looking is Damian Lillard. Now, Damian Lillard has went and talked to the Blazer brass, the Portland Blazer brass, with his representative, and nothing has been said, but they've, you know, all that corporate jargon has came out. It's productive meeting, and we're on the same page, and we're looking to expand, and all these things that we know that they're gonna say. But I think this is a little bit deeper than just corporate jargon. I think it's just a situation where it's either you do something for me, if not, I'm gone. How do you see it with this David Lillard situation?
Well, it's real tough because Portland is not a destination for free agents. Even when they had when they had like Rasheed Wallace and all them out there,
Right.
those players were there from being drafted and from trades.
Right, exactly.
And that was a really good job. It
they're
always,
close
it
to
always,
getting to the finals.
it always hurts me that they didn't get to the final. They didn't get
The
the ring.
Lakers,
Yeah,
those Lakers teams,
yeah,
man, they dominated.
They dominated. So they're one of those type markets. They're not a destination spot. It's just free agents aren't like, oh, I want to go to Portland.
Right, exactly. And I think that's the issue with Damian Lillard because he's painted himself in such a corner to where you're loyal to a fault, right? He says he doesn't want a rebuilding team. He doesn't want to be around young players, but he doesn't want to be part of a quote-unquote big three. The thing is, painting himself in the corner is that the only team you can go to is the Heat.
Yeah, I was about to say that,
maybe
yeah.
he did that on purpose to get with Butler and Bam Adebayo, but then when you bring in him, that's kind of a big three. Bam is not necessarily, he's not an all-star, but he's close to an all-star.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jimmy Butler is, and it's going to be him and Jimmy Butler, but if there's a trade, well, who do you lose?
You know that he's not going to give up Bam.
No,
so
they already said they're not giving up Ben in any trade.
So it would be like a Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson.
I would think be both of them and picks
And
for
picks, yeah.
for Damian Lillard, and then that means you have to keep Kyle Lowry
Yeah.
on the bench, and because I would keep him just for sake for keeping him.
Mm-hmm.
As far as experience is concerned, you see
Yeah.
how he played in the playoffs. He played great in the playoffs, and in the finals. So I would think, yeah, either Kyle Lowry or Tyler Hero. I think the Blazers will want both Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero,
Yeah.
and draft picks, a slew of draft picks for Damian Lillard. And if they have the assets, I would say for the Miami Heat, I think you got to explore that. You have to see if that's possible, especially if come to find out that Damian Lillard's not happy with the direction that Portland wants to go.
Yeah.
So if it comes out that say, hey, we want to go young, we don't want to bring in any star players, and we're going to rebuild, and he's not happy, I think Miami has to pounce on it because it looks like that's the only team that he wants to go to. Yes, he said Brooklyn, but Brooklyn's not close to getting to the finals. Yeah, you have Mikal Bridges over there. You have some players over there,
Yeah.
but they're not one player away
No.
to a championship. In the East, Miami's one player away. As you've seen with
Yeah.
them in the finals, you really needed another player like a Damian Lillard to help score because they really didn't have any scoring against Denver.
Yeah.
One other team is Milwaukee. Now, Milwaukee does have assets with Chris Middleton and others that they can trade to Portland for Damian Lillard. That right there gets you to championship contention.
Yeah. They won a championship not too long ago. So and they won a championship. It was pretty much Giannis and Drew Holiday. I mean, Giannis was the star, and there was no big three.
Right. And Giannis and Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton, we called him the Scottie Pippen of that team.
Yeah, he was that. He was that, but Giannis was the big dog. He was that guy. So he wouldn't be walking into he wouldn't be walking into anything because he said he didn't want to go to a team that just won the chip and stuff like that, the ring chase. So he wouldn't necessarily be ring chasing with this because Milwaukee got bounced out in the first round. So that would be something to look at.
I think those two teams, Milwaukee, Miami,
Okay.
would be the best fit for Dame. And to be honest with you, if he stays in Portland, I don't want to hear this again. I don't want to hear this issue with him being upset with Portland. I don't want to hear this issue with him, wanting to win a championship, but, he doesn't want to be with a super team. I don't want to hear nothing else if he stays with Portland this upcoming season.
Yeah.
We have to be done with this whole charade. on free agency when it comes to Damian Lillard. It has to be over if he stays with Portland. Really, come on, we gotta shut it. Okay, we know you're loyal. You're loyal to the fans. You're loyal to the soil. You're loyal to your people. You're loyal to the Bay. All right, stay loyal, but don't talk about being upset with the Portland Brass when you've been there your whole career and you know what they do. They do not want to win there. We've seen this before. You got to the Western Conference Finals once in your whole career.
Yeah.
It's turning into a Carmelo Anthony situation. So if you want to go somewhere to win, you got to pull a James Harden. And unfortunately, James Harden failed at it, but James Harden forced his way out of Houston to get to a team that was a player away to a championship.
Yeah.
And be honest, that's what he needs to do. But with that being said, we have to go to break and come right back with more Keep 1 Million Show.
He peeked in real quick. He jetted out.
Right back. Long in that song. What's up, man?
What's up, buddy? I'm sorry.
How you doing? No, I'm trying to say what's up to you.
What's up, baby?
How you doing?
I'm all right.
What's up,
man?
man?
How's
We
it
gotta
going?
talk.
Yes,
How long you be here all
yes.
night? All night or no?
I'm gonna be here for a minute.
Okay. You got this shit on Saturdays.
Yeah, I met him before. Yeah, man, cool, he cool dude.
What else are we into right now? Holmes and Kelsey beats Splash Brothers.
Oh, they beat him?
Yeah.
They say Steph is pretty good on that golf
Yeah,
course.
it's really good.
That's one game I need to learn how to play, man.
Golf.
Yeah.
What was the Ryan Mallett situation?
Say what?
The Ryan Mallett?
Oh, you want to talk about that? Okay.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Okay.
I have it. Hold on, I do have it. You know what? Okay, we're back. Keep 1 Million Show. I'm Dwayne,
Sean P.
and there's some tragedy hit in football as Ryan Mallett has died. Former NFL quarterback, ex-Arkansas star quarterback.
Yeah.
It seems like he got caught up in a rip current in Florida.
Yeah, Destin, Florida, on the Panhandle.
This was this past Wednesday, and yeah, they said that the conditions of the water was really bad. It this is very bad, terrible situation. You know, what was your thoughts on this?
I saw it real quick when I was in the gym, and I was looking at it, and it just said drowned deaths in Florida, and then when I came across it on my feed, it was just unfortunate because I know last time I encountered a riptide was when I was in Delaware at Rehoboth Beach, and the lifeguards was telling everybody they sectioned it off to stay out of this particular section because that's where the riptide was at.
Mm-hmm.
But you could still get in the water, but you had to go over to a particular section. So, well, they warned you about this. So it's just really sad because I'm guaranteeing you it happened real fast. He got taken out, and then he couldn't. I believe I read it. If I read it correctly, he was trying to swim to the sand bank or something like that. He was trying to get there, but he couldn't. But he couldn't make it there, and it's just real sad. It's real sad.
Right. He's a former quarterback of Baltimore Ravens, Houston, Texas, and New England Patriots.
Yeah, Patriots.
Played 5 seasons, and he was recently coaching football at Whitehall High School in Arkansas.
Yeah.
That's where he's originally from. So condolences to the family of Ryan Mallett. And yeah, I said there was yellow flags up as far as that means that there's, you know, a riptide in the beach. And yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
In this time of year, it does happen a lot, where people get caught up in riptides and whatnot, especially in those areas, Gulf of Mexico and you know, the Florida area. So yeah, very bad situation. One last thing. This is kind of a weird story. One of those viral internet stories where, you know, if you know, you know. There's a young football player, and they coined him as Baby Gronk. He's 11.
Okay.
He's gone viral plenty of times. Been interviewed on podcasts, social media, and everything. And the thing is, Rob Gronkowski himself is kind of sick of the situation. In a YouTube video, Gronk has a show called Tight End View. Gronkowski discussed the baby Gronk's dad while speaking to Taylor, Leon, and Will Compton. Former NFL star revealed baby Gronk's dad has contacted him 500 times, and he's considered taking further action at this point. Quote, 4 weeks ago, my brother told me, yo, have you seen baby Gronk? Did I see him? I go, his dad hit me up 500 times already. He goes, don't do anything. The dad is so annoying. That's what his brother told him. As this was like 5-6 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden 2 weeks later it comes out everywhere. He added, yeah, at this point where it's awkward, it's too far. For those unfamiliar with baby Gronk, 11-year-old kid who's been known his name in football world, the 7-on-7s and whatnot, the AAU circuit in football, youth football. He's been around for years now, but the problem is his father, baby Gronk's dad, force-feed his son exactly what to say in interviews, and basically is living vicariously through his son. If baby Gronk's dad keeps taking his son down this path, it could end poorly, and also Gronkowski may turn to legal action. What do you think about this story?
Yeah, legal action. I mean, he's not doing anything threatening. He's just being, as Destiny's Child would say, a bugaboo. You know, he just. Now I will say, he can use it and say stop.
Cease and desist.
Yeah, he does. Thank you. Cease and desist. You know, because pretty much you're stalking him and everything. So
Right.
you tell him to chill out. It's just one of those situations that I don't like to see. And I have my children in sports, like they do basketball right now, and I try my best not to be that helicopter parent. I try my best to not be too overbearing with them and everything, and they're having fun and everything. So it reminds me of this one Instagram video I saw. This one kid, it wasn't Baby Gronk, but this one kid playing football, and I saw it on Instagram, and I was like, oh, you know, I praised him. I was like, hey, he's really good. The kid was like I think only like about 8 years old, had a freaking like 6-pack and everything. So I'm like, I'm sitting there like, oh, that's great. But it's some things that bothered me because within the comments, and it's probably like this with Baby Gronk as well. One person said, yeah, I have a podcast, and he was trying to interview the kid and his dad. He was trying to do that, and pretty much he got told that he wasn't popular enough, wasn't big time enough, and they were only going for big time podcasts and everything. So that led me to believe, like, okay, this kid is only 8, and you pretty much telling you're saying this with this kid that you're feeding him like, oh, you're so great that you can't do this. You have to do this.
Right.
So the same thing with Baby Gronk. I'm like, dude, this is going to end badly.
And on this show, Keep 1 Million show, we've had young athletes, young boxers, young football players. We had football coaches on here. We've had young basketball players, even volleyball players on here years past, and they've all been humble. They've all been great. You know, they've all been great in their schoolwork and whatnot. The thing is, and their parents have been excellent for that. But when you see things like this happen on social media, it seems like the fame, you know, I don't know what to call it, the allure of the fame gets these parents very quickly because they know it's an easy route for fame. The podcast world is easy route, you know. Instagram and Twitter, an easy route to make money, and it's not good, you know.
At all.
I can see you using the videos to better your son or daughter as far as development, maybe get him to a better, not school, but a better, you know, one of those top end training facilities, one of those top, you know, I can see that, but using it to try to make money off of them, you know, like you said, you know, your podcast's not big enough, I'm looking for a bigger like, that's not cool. That's not cool at all. And yeah, it looks like this Baby Gronk situation with his dad, he's living definitely vicariously through his son. And that's sick. That's not cool at all. I hear it a lot when it comes with youth sports, AAU and all that, where the parents, I mean, remember years ago, there was all these videos of the parents fighting each other and fighting the refs and going against the coaches and wanting their kids to start, you know, and a lot of times the kids aren't good. Not just aren't good, they don't even want to be there. Remember the story of Eric Crouch. Eric Crouch, where he went tonight? Nebraska.
Talking about Tim Crouch?
No, Eric Crouch.
Oh, Eric Crouch.
Remember, he was a top quarterback in Nebraska. He gets drafted, I think, top 3 overall. And this is back when Nebraska was right at the prime, towards the end of their reign.
Yeah, I know.
Right? He gets drafted to the Cleveland Browns.
You sure it wasn't Tim Couch?
Oh, Tim Couch, excuse me. But wasn't there an Eric Couch? It was Tim Couch. Okay, you're right. gets drafted to the Browns, didn't even play a season.
Yeah.
Like, he just left. He quit. And it's why'd you quit? It's like, I did this for my dad. I didn't even want to be here. He didn't even want to play football. You know? He said he just did it for his dad because his dad pushed him so hard. And he was a top athlete.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
him and the dude from UCLA back in the day, I can never pronounce his name, Djokovic. I cannot pronounce his name, but his dad trained him to the point he had never had a cheeseburger before, and he ended up playing for the Raiders and ended up getting hooked on marijuana and everything. Like it was just crazy.
And a story I never forget. I used to work for ASU football team.
Yeah.
And this is the same time where Snoop Dogg's son was going into that part where he's, you know, talking to teens or whatnot, to play football.
Yeah.
And one of the teams he talked to was ASU. And Snoop wasn't there. It was his mom, and then, you know, they looked around and everything, and it was a big buzz. And literally, probably a month later, when he was supposed to, you know, talk about what team he was going to go to, you know, what team he was going to, you know, most likely it was going to be UCLA or USC.
Yeah, more likely.
He declined. He didn't want to play football anymore. Devastated Snoop, but he talked about on his shows and whatnot. He had to come to terms with it because he knew that that was his dream to be a football player, right? He played high school football, whatnot. That was his dream, but that wasn't his son's dream, right? He was a great football player. I watched him. It was one of those high school all-star games that was out here in Phoenix. Good football player, right? He was one of the top wide receivers in the country. He was, you know, he was he was gonna make it. He was gonna go to you know, not to the league, but he was gonna make it to college and possibly start and whatnot. He just said no.
You know, before we go to break, quick story. I heard about Michael Jackson, like how Michael Jackson, when he was younger, they were doing the Jackson 5 stuff, but he never really wanted to do that. He was real good at he was good at art.
Basketball.
He
was a great artist.
He was a great artist. He actually. Because I actually seen him with Space Jam playing with Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he was a really good.
Yeah, he actually was pretty good.
Was a great basketball player. Michael Jackson was a great basketball player.
And Michael Jackson was like 5'10". People don't realize he was actually pretty tall, and he actually was a pretty decent athlete. And they said that he never, but his dad, the late Joe Jackson, made both of them rest in peace. Pushed them into that, and I remember Stephen A. Smith telling the story about when they was in school and all hype about the Thriller video. It was a teacher that said, "Dang shame what they did to that boy." Talking about Michael Jackson.
Right.
They just did that to him, and it just messed his head up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you could really mess your kid's head up and push him too hard.
When it comes to that whole Baby Grunk situation, we hope it comes out.
I hope it comes out good. I hope it comes out good.
But there is that dark side to it, and it seems like it's rearing its ugly head. We don't want to see that, especially here. We want to see a positive, but hopefully the dad gets his act together, because it can really go left when it comes to these kids. So we're gonna leave right there, and we're going to go to break, come back in the second hour, and talk more sports. Okay.
What's up, man? How you doing, man?
Bless. I can't.
Yeah.
Listening to y'all right now. I hope you guys not live, right?
Oh, well, yeah, we are live.
Oh, damn it. Y'all live right now?
Yeah. You,
Oh, man. Is this YouTube right
yeah,
here, man?
go ahead.
Is this YouTube?
The man from Breeze,
You know what I'm
baby.
saying? Keep it at 1 million. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, indeed. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
you already
sir.
know. Keep the movement going. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
Keep the movement going. Best radio show on the planet, y'all. Phoenix,
Sorry.
Arizona. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Kyle
Yes.
wanted me to close the door.
I gotta get out of here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say, Zion William, if you listen to me, brother, I hope you're not the baby daddy, all right? Right on.
Yeah, just close the door behind you. Man. That's for Breeze, y'all. That's my man. Messing around with this, it used to be called Anchor. It's called Podcasters on Spotify now. I'll find some background music.
Show.
Back, a little break. We'll come back with more. Keep it locked. Thanks everybody for watching, for listening. Remember, go online. Listen, the number 2, KRDP.com. You can listen to music.
And Nikisha, what's going on, girl? And you ever talk about NASCAR?
Huh?
You ever talk about NASCAR?
No, I don't.
No, I was just asking because I know nothing about NASCAR.
Yeah.
You gonna talk about NASCAR? I'm like, I don't know anything about NASCAR. I'm like,
Ask about that.
just randomly, I'd be like, yeah, you know, I do a sports radio show. They be like NASCAR. I'd be like,
Yeah,
I
someone asked me about hockey too, and I'm like,
no,
I've done that before, but I had someone else talk. We talked about this guy that used to have a show. He had a rock show on here.
you talking about Hockey Dan or something like that?
DJ
like,
Hockey Chuck. What's his name? Big white guy.
Yeah,
He was deep into hockey. Like, he loves hockey, so we brought him on a few times and talk about hockey. But that's as far. And we'll talk crap about soccer, but
No, well, the World Cup is for the women.
NASCAR.
A World Cup for the women coming up, ain't it? It's this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, get dad track
The
and field.
Olympics is next year.
Yeah,
Definitely talk about the Olympics.
you know, track and field and stuff like that.
Right. Like some international sports, yeah, but not
We've been waiting for a long time.
All right, we're coming back, y'all. Coming back. Appreciate all y'all watching. We really do. Subscribe to KRDP as well as Keep It 1 Million on YouTube, and also like the video and share it.
All right, we're back. Keep 1 Million show. I'm Dwayne.
Oh, Sean P, my bad. Sean P. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and like I said, we're live on Instagram, on YouTube, on listen2krdp.com, and we're talking NBA free agency. We're talking sports and everything else outside of sports, and baseball. We don't talk baseball that much, but it's the summer, so it's not much going on. Something big that just happened in baseball. Domingo Germán of the Yankees has thrown a perfect game.
Oh, you threw a perfect game?
Yes, this is first perfect game since Felix Hernandez did it in 2012.
Okay. Okay.
And I was just reading about it right now.
Now,
and
we should explain to the people that don't understand a perfect game, because you got a perfect game and then you have a no-hitter.
right.
And some people
A
don't
no-hitter,
understand it.
the difference is a no-hitter, you can walk somebody and still record a no-hitter.
Yeah.
A perfect game is no one reaches the base.
At all.
At all, right. 27 outs. You get all 27 outs with no one reaching the base, no walks, and no hits, no walks. This has only been in history of baseball, this has only been the 24th perfect game. With the Yankees having the most with 4. This is the 4th perfect game for the Yankees. David Cone, David Wells, David Coleman in 1999, David Wells in 1998, and Darrell Larson in 1956 in the World Series beat the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yeah.
That was most likely the most famous perfect game.
Yeah, it's most famous one.
Right. And this was a beat down of the Oakland A's. I think the score was 11-0 against the A's.
Oh, damn.
And they're in the series in the A's. I think they just beat the A's tonight 10-4 as well. So this is a real big jolt for the Yankees, as the Yankees have been slumping as of late and been not doing very good this season. And this is also after Domingo Germán, his uncle had passed away last week.
Man.
So, this is a huge, for some reason this happens a lot in sports where, a parent, a family member passes away, and the player of that, family member does something unbelievable. You remember back when Brett Favre, I think his dad had died.
Yeah.
And he had that on Monday Night Football, that 399-yard 4 touchdown. I mean, one of the most iconic games of all time on television. You know, right after his dad died.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, Michael Jordan wins the NBA championship on Father's Day. You know, such a and it just goes to show the human resolve when it comes to, you know, losing someone. The best just comes out of you. And you know, shout out to this guy Domingo Drummond, with the perfect game. Like I said, the only 24 perfect games in the history of Major League Baseball, and is the well over 180 something years, almost 200 years of baseball. You know.
No. I mean, a perfect game is like I know with the Phillies. Doc Holliday, he didn't throw a perfect game in the playoffs. It was a no hitter because he the pitch it was just off the black. Like what they call right off the black. It was real close. He threw a slider and it was real close. He could have went either way. And he walked that one batter. And but he recorded a no hitter. If that wouldn't have happened, it would have been a perfect game. But rest in paradise, Doc Holliday as well. He passed away some years ago. So yeah, I mean it's tough to do. I mean that means everything has to go perfect game. Everything has to go perfect. Exactly. That means you can't have an error either. That means you got to catch the ball. Exactly. You got to get it caught.
No walks, no hits.
No hits. I remember one time Johan Santana almost threw a perfect game. He actually ended up losing his because the one hit he allowed was a home run. And they ended up losing. I think it was 1-0. Yeah, 1-0. Because the one hit he allowed was so he had a one hitter. Right. But he lost the game. Crazy.
Right. And in baseball right now, you have the Pirates beating the Padres 5-4.
Okay.
Tigers beat the Rangers 8-5. Royals beat the Guardians 4-3. Yankees beat the Athletics 10-4. Ravens beat the Diamondbacks 6-1. White Sox are beating the Angels 9-7. Marlins beat the Red Sox 2-0. Blue Jays beat the Giants 2-1. Brewers beat the Mets 3-2. Astros blanked the Cardinals 14-0. Phillies beat the Cubs 3-1.
Okay.
And one other thing about baseball, Shohei Ohtani is by far the best player in baseball right now.
Isn't he like
Aaron Judge is injured, so he was the best player right now.
Ohtani, he's a pitcher, right?
He's a pitcher and a batter. And
does he play the field? Does he play the field too?
No, he doesn't play the field.
He just pitches. Okay.
He pitches and then he's a DH as a batter. But what he did this past week, only like 6 players have done in the history of baseball. He hit multiple home runs and had 10 strikeouts in a single game.
Yeah. Wow.
He just recorded his 14th home run in the month of June. Not just 14th home run in the season. I think he leads the league in home runs. He really is a high-end player to win the Cy Young Award and the MVP, the AL MVP in one season.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's done that.
I think maybe a couple players have done it.
They have. I know a pitcher has won MVP in the past. I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look that up. Well, somebody on Instagram look that up for us, and somebody on YouTube look that up as well. Like fact checkers on that. If somebody won it in the same season, the Cy Young and the MVP in the same season.
But when it comes to baseball players winning both, nine times out of 10, it's not because of their offensive prowess. They're not hitting home runs and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's more like them being such a great pitcher that no offensive player is even
Yeah.
is even close.
Well, the Cy Young Award goes to the best pitcher. A lot of people don't
Yes.
like the pitchers winning MVP because they don't play every game. They play like once every 4 games or something like that.
Right.
So a
Once
lot
every
of
5
a
games.
everyday players, once every 5 games. A lot of everyday players are like, hold up, you know what I mean? I'm out here grinding. I'm out here doing this, and they just come in once every 5 games. That's the argument with that. I just feel like the best player should get the MVP. So that would be this guy Ohtani. I mean, especially if
he has 29 home runs and he's batting 309.
yeah, and he's
Right now.
what's his pitcher?
Before
Does he have an ERA on there? What's his ERA?
What does it say? Let me go back. What is his ERA? 'Cause I know his ERA is probably
Like usually a good ERA is like 2, like 2.9, 2.8, like a good ERA. And remember, y'all, this dude, this is unheard of. This is unheard of. You all, very unheard of.
Speaking the mic.
This is very unheard of for a pitcher to be doing this.
Okay. When it comes to American League stats, he is 4th in batting.
Okay.
He is 1st in home runs.
Okay.
He is tied for 1st in runs batted in. He is 3rd in hits. Now, when it comes to pitching, he's 2nd in strikeouts with 127.
All right.
He's not in the top as far as wins. Yeah, he's 19th in wins, most likely tied. When it comes to batting, he's the top.
Okay.
The top of batting. Pitching, he's middle of the road.
Oh, okay.
You know, he's there. You know, when it comes to middle of the road, top 10, top 15.
Oh, okay.
Let me look at excuse me, an ERA. You know, he's 16th. He has a 3.02 ERA. You know, number 1 is Shane McLaren. This is all baseball, all of Major League Baseball, all in the American League. Yeah, in the American League, he's 10th. So, you know, when it comes to pitching, he's middle of the pack.
Oh, okay.
You know, he has number 1 in strikeouts though. He's top in the strikeouts, and that's when one of the criteria is that Cy Young is is top strikeouts, top wins, top ERA. So it's still early in the season. Before the All-Star break. You know, he's one of the best right now. And
no hate over here.
the thing is, when it comes to at the end of this season, there's going to be a big bidding war for him, as you know, he's garnered possibly the most, the biggest contract in sports history.
Yeah.
He will garner that, the top. I mean, people talking about $65, $70 million a year. You know, and one of the teams that possibly the Mets, the Yankees, the Dodgers, maybe San Francisco Giants, maybe the Atlanta Braves, a dark horse. But those top teams is those are top money teams. Dodgers, San Francisco, Yankees, and Mets. Those are the 4 teams that's going to vie for his services at the end of the season towards next season. I don't see the Angels even coming close.
Crazy money, boy.
Yeah, I mean, and he's worth every penny.
Oh, I ain't,
That's
I
the
ain't,
thing.
no
That's
hate
the
over
thing.
there. No
He's
hate
worth
at all.
every penny. If you've seen him play, it's like wow. I mean, he basically won the World Baseball Classic, beating his teammate with a strikeout to win it all. On Team Japan. Now he possibly can have the Angels in the playoffs, which is actually rare because they've been a horrible team in the past 10 years. They're third right now in the AL West, but in the wild card, I think they're in the driver's seat right now in the wild card. So we're gonna come right back. We're gonna talk more sports and other topics. So keep it locked right here. It's the Keep 1 Million Show.
You guys! I love this song! I love these nachos. I love our kickball league! Oh! I love this guy! What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzz warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay, I just popped some gum in my mouth. Step out of the car, please. I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
And we're back to Keep 1 Million Show. I'm Dwayne.
Sean Pate.
And we were talking some sports. NBA free agency. We were getting into that. We talked a little baseball. But right now, get into some politics. And one of the biggest things that just happened is the fact that the Supreme Court has rejected affirmative action in 2 schools, 2 colleges. It was with Harvard,
One of them was Yale.
Yale, and the University of North Carolina.
Okay.
Now, this was speared by an an Asian contingency that said that they were being targeted because of this affirmative action in schools, and that was leaving certain Asian students out of the schools. How do you feel about the situation? That is basically, I would say, the biggest political issue right now.
I don't really understand what's going on. I understand their issue. Like from what I've heard, they're saying that the affirmative action was unfair to them because they were unable to attend these particular schools because of affirmative action. Is that the case?
Yes.
Okay, so they're unable to do that. So taking away the affirmative action is going to allow them to go to the schools. I guess they're saying that they're saying it's more fair. It'll be a more fair playing ground, I guess.
Let me go and read what CNN.com has put up in their article.
Okay.
The Supreme Court ruled Thursday that colleges and universities can no longer take race into consideration as a specific bias in admissions. A landmark decision has overturned long-standing precedents that benefited Black and Latino students in higher education. Chief Justice John Roberts, who wrote the opinion for the conservative majority, said Harvard and University of North Carolina admissions programs violated the Equal Protection Clause because they failed to offer measurable objectives to justify the use of race. The opinion claims that the court was not expressly overturning the prior cases authorizing race-based affirmative action and suggesting that how race has affected the applicant's life can still be part of how their application is considered. Liberal justices slammed the opinion in their dissent. Saying the decision will make it particularly impossible for colleges and universities to take race into account. The Supreme Court says colleges and universities. Okay. I have a feeling maybe this may backfire. And the reason I say that is because affirmative action was there so that minorities, Blacks, Latinos, Asians, and other minorities can get in because of their race. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're correct. You're correct.
So let's say two students who have similar backgrounds and similar, not similar backgrounds, but have different backgrounds, but have similar grades and have similar accomplishments from high school. That minority applicant can also get in. If I'm, reading what the affirmative action law is, right? Races of equal standing can get into these universities and higher learning education due to their academia, so that these universities can have diversity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, an Asian man, I think it was in the University of North Carolina, had challenged the law of affirmative action because he was not able to get in, and he's blaming affirmative action because of it.
Mm.
And since it goes all the way to the Supreme Court, now the Supreme Court has overruled that specific form of affirmative action as far as colleges and universities. What does this do for Black Americans, namely young Black men and women that wants to go into higher education?
It's going to be a whole lot harder. It's going to be a whole lot harder, and it might boost the admissions to HBCUs.
It can, but it also can make it harder for Asians as well, because it could backfire that as well. Because if I'm not mistaken, the most people that benefited from affirmative action was, and this is documented, white women and other fringe groups, not necessarily minorities of Black, Latino, and Asian descent, I would say the solution for Black people when it comes to higher education would be, if you have an issue with admissions, possibly go the trade route for your child.
Oh, yeah.
You know, whatever they're wanting to pursue, find a specific school for that, for what your child wants to do, and go that route versus going to a university or a college, because they might be not admitted because of their race, because there's a, you know, a secret quota and whatnot, because that was affirmative actually was against, was right, was like, okay, we gotta let everybody in, right? Isn't that what affirmative actually was? Now, I think this may be much ado about nothing, because this is one small situation. Now, if they struck down affirmative action in the workforce, that's a major problem. That's the whole nation.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot larger, of people, right? But as far as just 2 schools, and we know about Ivy Leagues, they're about legacy. They're about, so anybody, if you're not up to quote unquote snuff in one of these Ivy Leagues, you're not going to get in anyway, right? And you're right, HBCUs, yeah, this may be a reason for people to go to, young people to go to HBCUs versus, was it PWI, a predominantly white institution, or Ivy League institution? How do you think this is going to shape out in the future?
I have no clue. I mean, it could assist HBCUs with attendance, boost attendance, but some HBCUs have some issues of their own. Just ask Ed Reed,
right.
Ask
When it comes to coaching and whatnot, yes.
Ask Deion Sanders. Ask any students that were recently at Howard University. HBCUs have their own thing, some things they need to take care of. It could backfire on the Asian community, but we shall see. We shall see.
Right, like I said, this ruling is fairly new. It just came down on Thursday. So. And look at my next topic. We did talk about the baby Gronk situation. We're gonna just go over that one more time. There's a young player, 11 years old, they call Baby Gronk, and his dad is basically a bugaboo to actual Rob Gronkowski. And Rob Gronkowski goes on social media and a podcast, Tight End U, and talks about how, it's been kind of weird, and he's looking to possibly take legal action as far as maybe a cease and desist. How do you feel about that?
That's Rob Gronkowski's right as an American citizen to do that. I don't know how bothersome this man is. He must be really bothersome for Rob Gronkowski to take this that far.
Right.
So what I would suggest is that somebody needs to sit down with the dad, tell him to chill out.
Right, and he's said he's tried to contact him over 500 times. 500 times just to get, I guess, a picture with them, Baby Gronk and Big Gronk. I don't know. It's really kind of sick when it comes to, if you know the inner workings of AAU football and AAU basketball, and how these parents, live vicariously through their children. It's kind of it's really an issue, really bad. Anybody in the East Coast, you know, you guys have the issue with the wildfires and the smokes and whatnot. Pirates player McCutcheon, he's has an issue with. Hold on, he had an issue with the officials, Major League Baseball officials, deciding to play through the wildfire and the smoke. Yeah, the second time this month. This is on SportsIllustrated.com. The second time this month, wildfire smoke has permeated the Northeast. Raging fires in Canada, poor visibility, more importantly, poor air quality has plagued Major League Baseball games throughout the parts of this month. On Thursday, the Pirates and Padres were set to play the last game of a 3-game series at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. The afternoon game was delayed 45 minutes due to smoke and air quality issues, but the air quality wasn't expected to get much better throughout the afternoon. As a result, Pirates outfielder Andrew McCutcheon blasted MLB's decision to play the game on Thursday. Quote, "Of course I'm concerned. Before the game, you read the alerts, you read everything they're saying, trying to stay safe from outside. One of the main things is to avoid strenuous activity, and that's what we're doing for 3+ hours out there." McCutcheon sported a mask on the field on Thursday during the game, backing up his comments and concern regarding the air quality. McCutcheon joined by catcher Austin Hedges in criticizing the league's decision to play on Thursday. Quote, "I don't really know why we are playing," Hedges says. "It seems like everyone is kind of uneducated on the subject." Which is too bad. It's clear as day when you look at your phone and you check the numbers, like it's told you don't go outside. They're not telling you don't go outside. They're telling you, not saying for no reason. There's not any difference for any other humans. So, you know, what's going on with, if you've seen what's going on the East Coast, especially in New York City, Washington, D.C., and Pittsburgh and whatnot, Virginia, all that smoke going all the way from Canada, I would say they have a gripe. They have a valid issue. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a valid issue. It's definitely a valid issue. And I applaud them for calling MLB out with this. I would like to hear more about it, the investigation and everything, because this is truly serious.
Right, and I've talked to family members in New York City, and it's a bad situation out there when it comes to these wildfires, because they're not used to it. We're in Phoenix, Arizona, and we're used to this. You know, it doesn't get as far as it does from northern Arizona here when the wildfire season happens. And it's going to happen very soon, especially in California. But how that elevation is, you know, over there in the Northeast. And you know, it's different terrain, different situation, and they're definitely not used to wildfire smoke and whatnot. For Major League Baseball, for them to play through it, that's a bad look. And it goes to show you that money's king.
Yes, it is.
That greed is everything when it comes to that. Going back to NBA free agency, you have James Harden opting into his $35.6 million contract with the 76ers, but that opting in is to facilitate a trade. What do you think about that, and what team would be the best fit for James Harden?
I I don't mind to see the trade. I wasn't a big fan of the Harden trade to begin with when they traded Ben Simmons. I wanted them to go after Buddy Hield, but they went with Harden. I was like, okay, because I wasn't worried about Harden in the regular season. It was the postseason that I was looking at it because he's been known to fold in the
he has.
in the postseason. So I can see them maybe talking to the Clippers and looking at possibly Paul George. I don't see Kawhi. I don't see them putting Kawhi up on the train block, but I can see them going for Paul George. I heard the Knicks, like we talked about that earlier about the Knicks. I had to see who they would work out.
What they give up, right?
They give up with that.
Yeah, I think the best situation would be the Clippers because you get all-star for an all-star, matching contracts. You know, if there's draft picks involved and everything like that, that probably would match up as well.
Yeah.
The Knicks, on the other hand, you know, you get younger players, which is always great. So you know, yeah, it's a wait and see. And I think in the next week we'll find out where James Harden is going to be. And with that being said, we'll be right back with more Keep 1 Million Show.
Let's go. Curtis Mayfield.
What was the other one I was going to mention? I forgot. There was one more thing.
If you want to listen to the music, go to listen to KRDP.com. If you're out here, 90.7 on your FM dial. The song playing now is Curtis Mayfield, The Making of You. Missy Elliott, she sampled this for Monica. A song called A Dozen Roses.
Oh, I forgot about this. You hear about the player getting suspended for gambling?
Who?
Players getting suspended for gambling.
Oh, yeah,
Oh. And we're back. Keep 1 million. So I'm Dwayne.
Sean P.
And we've been talking about this Zion situation for past few weeks. And his the woman that he's, you know, been involved with, it's something really strange. She put a tattoo of his name on her face. More Mills. There's a video of it. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. She had his name tattooed on her face.
I think something's mentally wrong.
On his cheek, on her cheeks, and it says Zion. And had a whole look like Instagram production.
I think something mentally wrong with this young lady.
I think so too.
I think something is truly mentally wrong with her. She needs to, and I'm not joking, it's no joke, no joke. All jokes aside, she needs to seek out some help, because she's not all there. Get a man's name on your face, and who doesn't want to be with you. She literally went ballistic. Like she just snapped.
Yeah, she did. When it come to find out that he, has he got another woman pregnant. It came out. The baby shower looks all celebratory, and next thing you know, she comes out of woodwork with a couple other women too, blasting him because he was with them, possibly at the same time. And it seems like she's the one who went extremely overboard.
Yeah.
And like I said, you could go on social media. She has been, put in Twitter jail for the things that she said, because she said some really, really out of pocket things. But then came back with a video of her putting his name on her cheek. Hopefully it's fake. That's probably the only one I'm thinking. I hope it's fake.
Yeah, we can hope, but she's a strange one. She's a strange one. So this is why when you raise children, you have to raise them in a balanced life and have balanced head, because any child that was in a house where things were balanced, and you don't need to have both parents in the house, but just when it's balanced, they don't act like this in adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do these type of silly things.
Yeah, there's some real daddy mommy issues when it comes to that the situation. It's a bad situation. Very, very bad. One last thing. I'm trying to find something. And it's, how social media is. You see something, and you're like, oh, I want to talk about this. Mm-hmm. And then you try to go back to it, you can't find it. Oh. We've been talking about this story for a few weeks now as well.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
He and his team and representation has talked to the management of Portland to see where they're going to go from here. And nothing has been talked about as far as what the meeting has, came about. It's been a quote-unquote productive meeting. The whole corporate jargon was productive meeting, and both sides had their voices heard, and we're going to see in the future what comes of it, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, and this is actually what is always said when it comes to this Damian Lillard saga.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is going to happen with this situation? Because it's getting tiresome.
Yeah, they just drafted Scoot Henderson, so they're probably going to figure out a trade for Dame, and they're going to ride with Scoot, even though he's not a good 3-point shooter. So they're just going to start all over. And I'm gonna
give you something you may like.
Yeah, what's up? Let me hear it.
James Harden for Damian Lillard, straight up. What do you think?
Portland wouldn't do that.
Why? Why not? Is James Harden too old?
No, he can still play. He's still gonna give you 20 a game. 20 and 10 a game. He could play the point, but what would that do for Scoot though? Like you gonna bring? I guess you could bring Scoot off the bench and develop him, but or you could start Scoot and have James Harden at the 2. But I don't see Portland doing that. I mean, being a Sixers fan, I'd be like, oh yeah, great, but I just don't see them doing that.
Well, I'm reading, was this USAtoday.com, and they got, you know, the top teams that could, you know, bring Damian Lillard in, and well, one of the teams is the 76ers, but the trade would be for Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
That would be I think that would be a better deal. You got a younger guard.
I heard about that while the season was going on, but I don't know if Morey and the Sixers want to give up Maxey though, because they would be giving up Maxey and keeping Harden.
Right. Harden already wants to be traded, so that's not going to happen. You're not going to trade away Maxey and Harden, right? Because this looks like this may be a couple days before, you know, the whole James Harden situation. So with James Harden, I think that nixes that deal. Matter of fact, it nixes him going to 76ers altogether. I think one team that is very much intriguing would be the New Orleans Pelicans. Because you have Zion Williamson. He's get traded, he's reunited with C.J. McCollum. And then him, C.J. McCollum, and Brandon Ingram, that's a formidable team.
Yeah, that's formidable.
That's a formidable team.
Oh, sending Zion to Portland, okay.
Sending Zion to Portland. I mean, he's already been in Portland this whole offseason since, you know, he's a Nike athlete. He has his own shoe with Jordan. That's where he's been training and been trying to develop and get back. There's rumors that Zion hasn't even been in New Orleans, that he doesn't even talk to the New Orleans brass or even his teammates.
Yeah.
You know, so this whole situation I could talk about with Zion and his personal issues, but on a professional level, it seems like his family is really wanting him out of New Orleans. And so, and the problem is, once again, why do you sign that contract, that major contract last season? He could have not signed it, been a free agent at the end of this season, and he could have looked at what teams would have wanted his services.
Yeah, well, I guess he was looking all that. Hold up. Well, I guess he was looking at the money, looking at all the zeros.
Right, and but the problem is, you didn't want to be there. And just like, once again, I keep saying this reminds me of the Deshaun Watson situation, where he re-ups that major contract with Houston, knowing he did not want to be there on a losing franchise. The whole issue comes out, but he wanted out. Remember, he was going to hold out. I think Zion's going to hold out again, and all this issue has come up, his personal life, and the New Orleans Pelicans saying in so many words, it may not be a good deal to keep him. So now this whole trade scenario with Damian Lillard comes about, which is a very pretty good situation. But the two teams he said he wanted to go to is the Brooklyn Nets and the Miami Heat, which I think Miami is possibly the perfect fit for him. What do you think?
I think Miami would be a great fit for him. I think New Orleans would be a great fit for him as well. But because if Zion would never have gotten hurt, they were looked at as a possible contender.
Right. They were in the beginning of the season.
In the beginning of the season,
they did look like they were a contender. Not even looked like a contender. With Zion, he was about 25 and 10, and 60 some odd % from the field. But then you have someone like Damian Lillard coming back with his ex teammate. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't. Those two didn't have a problem with each other. They played off each other beautifully.
Right. So, remember, make it to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah. So no issues there. So I can see it being New Orleans or Miami. Those are two good situations for Dame.
Mm-hmm. Right, and once again, when it comes to Miami, Damian Lillard, Bam Adebayo, and Jimmy Butler You know, he talks about he doesn't want to be part of a big three, but that's a big three, right? They have to trade away Duncan Robinson and or Tyler Hero for that, and a bunch of draft picks. The Brooklyn situation, I think that'd be best for Portland. That's the team he wants to go to. Because they have a lot more assets, younger players, and a slew of draft picks from that Kevin Durant trade. So when it comes to, you know, what we want to see, or matter of fact, not what we want to see, because the fan base, we all want to see Dame get to a situation where he can win a championship, because he deserves a championship.
I would love to see that.
But as far as for him and for Portland is concerned, I think the number one thing possibly is him being traded to Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
Because that's the best return for Portland. Now, if they want to go big splash, then you trade him to New Orleans. Because the Miami, that means you're basically saying we're rebuilding. And who's your best player? Tyler Hero?
Yeah.
Right? What do you want? Or do you want this big splash like Zion to keep the butts in the seats and the jersey sales going?
Yeah.
So I think really the top two teams would be New Orleans or Brooklyn for Portland. But for Damon would be Miami. Because that's his best chance to win a championship.
All right.
You know. And with that being said...
Oh, hold up.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hold up. We ain't going to talk about that curve situation?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
I forget about that. Go ahead.
Real quick. We got about 3 minutes. It was a situation on Twitter. And MIKAL Bridges, he tweeted at Asia Wilson. He asked her, he said, hey, when's your next game? And she pretty much said, don't quote me on this, but she pretty much said, boy, bye. You know, like she said, she said, leave me alone, stop messing with me. And then he said, well, I'll just Google it. But come to find out, because I've read on the New York Post, I read in Fox News, I read on another website, they pretty much said the same thing, that they believe that these two are really cool, and that this is just something that they do. And like that he'll say something like, yo, what up, bestie? Said that a couple of years ago, and she said, and she tweeted something back to him, like, so he tweets something at her, and she just disses him, and they really believe that they're really cool. So it's much to do about nothing. But I do think it's funny when Twitter went crazy. People, because she said she didn't want to wear those.
You know what?
Yeah.
Forget all that. He tried to holler at her.
Oh, yeah.
She shot him down.
Hey.
She shot him down in front of the whole world. So you know what, MIKAL Bridges, you got to take that L.
Hey.
I don't listen. No, they're not best friends.
No,
take that L, MIKAL.
He never said they was best friends.
I know. I'm just saying. Take that L.
But he did take the L. He just said, okay, I'll just Google it. He took the L. He was like this. But hey, if that's true, he shot a shot. He said, hey, you don't know the answer until they say no.
He airballed.
Yeah.
He shot a shot and airballed. So hey, you know what? Don't try to holler at WNBA players. You're gonna lose.
Yeah, especially aerial powers.
Right. And then that being said, I'm Dwayne.
Sean P.
And this is the Keep 1 Million show. Thanks everybody for watching on YouTube, on Instagram, listening on listen number 2, KRDB.com. Please join us next week with more NBA talk, NFL talk, and everything in between. And with that, I'm out.